Tiếng Anh More Friends Global, student book, published by Vietnam Education Publishing House. Authors: Vũ Mỹ Lan, Huỳnh Đông Hải, Nhung Thuy Lien, Hung Nhok Thuy Chiang, Chan Thuy Thuy Chien. CD 2.
Track 2.2. 1.
It's minus 10 degrees Celsius and there's a lot of ice everywhere. On cars, on trees, on houses. The ice is 10 centimeters thick in some places. In a strange way, it's beautiful to look at, but icy roads are dangerous for drivers and pedestrians. And there are many homes in the area without electricity. We're expecting a little snow this afternoon.
2.
There is some snow on the ground, and already it's impossible to see more than a few meters ahead. There isn't any fog, but the wind is blowing the snow into my face. It's difficult just to open my eyes. It's very cold, it's very windy, and this reporter is very glad to be going inside now.
3.
It began this morning. The sky became very cloudy and the air felt stormy. There were a few showers and it was windy too. Everyone knew what was happening, and many people left their homes and went inland, away from the coast. Now there's a lot of rain and the wind is extremely strong. Nobody is outside. It isn't safe.
Track 2.3.
Greece is hotter than the UK. It isn't as warm as yesterday. Yesterday, London was as hot as Athens. Libya is much hotter than Canada.
Track 2.4.
There are two people in the doorway of a house. They are cleaning up after a flood. They are wearing trousers and hoodies. The boy on the left has a blue t-shirt and red shorts. He's crying. Next to him there's a man with a blue bucket. He is emptying the water into a container. The water in the street is brown and muddy. Behind them there is a woman. She looks very unhappy.
Track 2.5. 1.
Bye, Mum. I'm off to school now. See you about 4.
Don't forget your coat. It might rain this afternoon.
OK, I've got it.
2.
I can just see the tornado on the horizon, but it's very dark out there.
It's the storm clouds. Shall we go out and take a closer look?
I feel safer here because we can take cover in the cellar. And what about your lunch?
I'll finish it later. I'm going out to take a look. Bye, darling.
3.
The sun's so hot. Shall we get an ice cream?
Oh, not yet. I'm still full from breakfast.
Well, I'm going to. Where's the money Mum gave you?
Oh, no. I left it on the kitchen table.
Oh, well done. Shall we go for a swim?
OK. Can we leave our bags here?
Yes, they'll be OK. We can see them from the water.
Track 2.6. 1.
Can you tell me what happened?
It was terrifying. It was in the middle of the night, so we were in bed. Everything started to shake. A few moments later, the back of the house collapsed. We all rushed outside and stood in the street. Luckily, no one was injured.
And this place is now your home?
Yes, we came here yesterday. The church has been very helpful. We have food and water and a roof over our heads, but we've lost everything.
2.
There's been virtually no rain in the region for the past 2 years. Normally it's very rainy at this time of year, but the last rain was 2 months ago. My charity raises money from abroad. My job is to spend it on food and drinking water, but we urgently need more. The government here provides some food and water, but it isn't enough. Politicians make promises, but they often break them.
3.
Did you see that fire on the news last night in California?
No. Was anyone killed?
I don't think so, but it destroyed a lot of houses. The pictures were shocking. The fire moved so fast.
Oh, how did it start?
Somebody lit a fire in the forest.
So it wasn't an accident?
Well, it was, actually. They were going to have a barbecue.
That was a bit stupid, in the middle of a heat wave. Did they find the people who started it?
Yes, they were the ones who phoned the emergency services.
4.
Scientists said last year that it was going to erupt. Well, it finally erupted a couple of days ago, and lava poured down the mountain. It destroyed a village, and sadly, a number of people lost their lives. You can still see lava coming out of the ground high up on the mountain, and clouds of smoke are still pouring from the top. But it isn't as bad as it was yesterday.
Track 2.7.
Global warming fact file. The Earth is heating up. The average surface temperature is 0.75 degrees Celsius higher now than it was 100 years ago. When we burn fossil fuels, they give off greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, CO2. This causes global warming. We have cut down over 50% of the Earth's rainforests in the last 60 years. These are important because they remove CO2 from the atmosphere and add oxygen. They are also home to over half of the world's plant and animal species. Some scientists believe that by 2050, about 35% of all plant and animal species could die out because of climate change. Sea levels are rising and the polar ice caps are melting. Scientists say that fossil fuels like coal and gas may run out by the year 3000, so we need to develop alternatives such as renewable energy and nuclear energy.
Track 2.8.
In February 2007, Eva Wisniewska, a German paraglider, was in Australia with other paragliders preparing for the World Championships. One morning, as they were getting ready to take off, they noticed a thunderstorm approaching. However, they decided to carry on. As the best paragliders, they were skillful enough to keep away from some dark clouds. Unfortunately, as the competitors took off, the weather quickly got worse. Despite Eva's attempt to escape, two enormous clouds came together and trapped her. They pulled her up inside the storm like a leaf in the wind. She flew higher and higher. It was dark and I could hear lightning all around me. She reached nearly 10,000 meters higher than the top of Mount Everest and then lost consciousness. At that height, the temperature was about -40 degrees Celsius and there was very little oxygen. Death seemed certain. For 40 minutes, Eva was unconscious. Waking up, she was still inside the storm. It was dark and hailstones as big as tennis balls were flying past. But fortunately, her glider, which was spinning above her head, was still in one piece. Eventually, Eva came out of the storm cloud and landed safely near a small farm. When her team reached her, she was 60 kilometers away from the place where she took off. She was weak and covered in ice, but alive. Eva was the luckiest woman in the world. There's no logical reason why she survived. Eva had frostbite on her ears and legs, but a few days later, she competed in the World Championships.
Track 2.9. 1.
In the first photo, I can see a busy river market. There are lots of people selling things on boats. In the second photo, I can see a street market at night. It can't be in Britain because some of the shop signs aren't in English. In the foreground, a young man and woman are walking along the street. In the background, there are a few other people. Both photos show people selling things. One obvious difference is that the first photo is taken during the day and the second photo is taken at night. In the first photo, it must be quite warm because some people are wearing t-shirts. But in the second photo, it must be a cold night because the people are wearing winter coats and scarves. In the first photo, the people look very busy. Some of them are chatting together. They probably know each other. In the second photo, the man and woman are probably feeling cold, but not unhappy.
2.
In the first photo, I can see a big crowd of people in a very wide street. They're standing on the pavement and they're watching a parade. There are lots of flags. The second photo shows lots of people in boats at a river market. They are selling fruit and vegetables. Some of them are chatting. The main difference between the photos is that the people in the first photo are enjoying themselves. Maybe it's a public holiday. Whereas in the second photo, the people are working. The weather seems quite similar in both photos. It's not really cold, as there are people in t-shirts, and it's not really hot, as some people are wearing jumpers or jackets. I can't really see the expressions on the faces of the people in the photos, but I imagine in the first photo they're happy, as they are at a festival and the weather is fine. In contrast, in the second photo, the people are working, so I imagine they are not quite so happy. But they look quite relaxed, and they don't seem unhappy.
Track 2.10.
In the first photo, I can see a big crowd of people in a very wide street. They're standing on the pavement, and they're watching a parade. There are lots of flags. The second photo shows lots of people in boats at a river market. They are selling fruit and vegetables. Some of them are chatting. The main difference between the photos is that the people in the first photo are enjoying themselves. Maybe it's a public holiday. Whereas in the second photo, the people are working. The weather seems quite similar in both photos. It's not really cold, as there are people in t-shirts, and it's not really hot, as some people are wearing jumpers or jackets. I can't really see the expressions on the faces of the people in the photos, but I imagine in the first photo they're happy, as they are at a festival and the weather is fine. In contrast, in the second photo, the people are working, so I imagine they are not quite so happy. But they look quite relaxed, and they don't seem unhappy.
Track 2.11.
Today, we are talking to Yuka Tanaka, professor in meteorology who has been researching the impacts of El Niño and the effect that global warming might have on future El Niño events. Yuka, what can you tell us about your research?
Well, we know that El Niño events have become more severe over the past 25 years. The 2015 event contributed to a record number of typhoons in the Central Pacific. 16 were recorded that year, and it is estimated that over 60 million people suffered from hunger and malnutrition in 2016 due to droughts influenced by El Niño.
And are they getting worse because of global warming?
It's possible, yes, and it's likely to affect the events in the future. What we don't know is whether the events will become stronger or more frequent.
So, what can we do to prepare for the next El Niño?
Well, the good thing is that scientists can predict when they are coming, and we can prepare. It's important to give early warnings to communities. Having an evacuation plan is essential. And of course, in the long term, this is just another reason why we all need to focus on global warming and do everything we can to stop it getting worse.
Track 2.12.
Hello, and thank you for asking me to come and speak to you today. I'd like to start by telling you about how I became a space scientist. I spent a lot of time as a child staring out of my window at the night sky. I also read books from the library and learned all about the planets. I used to stand in the garden and point out the names of the planets to my very patient parents. Science wasn't really my favourite subject when I was at school. I preferred maths. I also played the violin very well, and I thought that music might be my future career. But then I went to the Science Museum in London. There was an exhibition about space travel and also a film about shooting stars. I thought it was amazing that most of the shooting stars we see are meteoroids. That night, I saw a shooting star. I was so excited I decided right then that I would be a space scientist. I worked hard at school and studied physics at university. After that, I worked as a research assistant at different universities in Britain and later in Japan. People ask me how to become a space scientist. Well, it doesn't matter too much which university you go to, but you need to get the best science degree you can. Follow your dreams and don't give up.
Track 2.13.
Architect. Photo D. Cleaner. Dentist. Engineer. Photo A. Farm worker. Hairdresser. Photo B. Paramedic. Photo C. Pilot. Programmer. Receptionist. Sales assistant. Solicitor. Sports coach. Travel agent. Waiter.
Track 2.14. Speaker 1. Tom.
I really wanted to work outdoors over the summer, so when I saw the advertisement for a job as a gardener, I applied for it. I did it for 5 weeks, and to be honest, I didn't really enjoy it very much. I was unlucky with the weather. It was a very rainy summer. But the main problem was I had to do the same thing every day. It got really boring because there was no variety. At least the hours weren't too long. I started at 10 in the morning and finished at 4 in the afternoon. Then I went home. Most days I didn't see another person all the time I was there. I didn't like that either, really. I prefer working with other people.
Speaker 2, Katie.
I really enjoyed my job at a summer camp. It was 7 days a week, so hard work, but that was fine. The children had lessons in the morning. Then every afternoon I'd do sports with them. Football, volleyball, athletics, lots of different things. There were 5 of us working as sports coaches. We all got on really well, which was great, and we helped each other to plan the afternoon. We arranged matches and competitions for the evenings too, so we usually had to work really late, but we didn't mind. Seeing the children enjoying themselves and learning new activities was great. I loved it.
Track 2.15.
Hi, Mia. Are you okay? You look a bit anxious.
I've got a job interview in 20 minutes.
Oh, I won't chat then, I promise.
It's okay. I'm going to leave soon anyway. I need to walk to Hilltop Road. Is it far?
Not really. It'll take about 10 minutes.
Oh no, look at that rain. I'm going to get wet.
I'll lend you my umbrella.
It's okay. I'll call a taxi.
There isn't time for that. Here, take it.
Oh, thanks. I'll give it back later. Where will you be?
I'll wait here for you. Good luck.
Track 2.16. A.
Kathy wants to become a journalist. However,
B.
working as a pizza delivery man is quite stressful. What's more,
C.
I think builders have a very boring job. What I mean is,
D.
the job of gardener is very skilled and challenging. In spite of this,
E.
I'd like to have a job that pays well, such as
F.
the job of sales assistant is very tiring. That's because
Track 2.17. Speaker A.
Kathy wants to become a journalist. However, her father wants her to work in the family shop.
Speaker B.
Working as a pizza delivery man is quite stressful. What's more, it's badly paid.
Speaker C.
I think builders have a very boring job. What I mean is, the work is very repetitive.
Speaker D.
The job of gardener is very skilled and challenging. In spite of this, it isn't very well paid.
Speaker E.
I'd like to have a job that pays well, such as stunt performer or police officer.
Speaker F.
The job of sales assistant is very tiring. That's because you're on your feet all day.
Track 2.18.
Today, in our series about unusual jobs, I'm talking to Sean Aiken. Sean spent a year doing not one job, but 52, one for each week of the year. Hello, Sean, and welcome to the show.
Hi.
So, when did you come up with this idea?
When I finished university, I realized I had no idea what I wanted to do.
So, how did you come up with the idea of 52 jobs?
Well, my dad said I should do something I was passionate about, but I didn't know what that was. So I set up the website oneweekjob.com. I asked employers all over the world to give me a job for just 1 week so I could find out what I enjoyed.
Was it difficult to get 52 different jobs?
Some people offered me a job when they heard about what I was doing, but I found most of the jobs by searching online.
What kind of jobs did you do?
Radio DJ, fireman, a journalist, yoga teacher, baker. They weren't all in one place, of course, so I had to travel a lot.
Did you take any holiday?
No, I worked for 52 weeks without stopping. It was incredibly tiring, and I was always short of money.
Didn't your employers pay you?
They paid me, but I donated all of my wages to charity.
What was the most challenging job?
Working on a farm. That was so hard. I had to get up at 5 o'clock every morning, and the work was very tiring.
And what did you learn from your 52 jobs?
Well, you need to be really passionate about what you do. It's more than just money, and it's important that you work with people that you get on with and who have similar interests to you.
So, would you do it again?
Well, at the moment, I'm helping other people to do their own 52-week job project. I've found that I'm passionate about helping others.
Great! So, if anyone listening likes the sound of that, get in touch with Sean. Thank you for coming in and talking to us, Sean.
Track 2.19.
Cooperate. Ex-wife. Microchip. Multicolored. Overcooked. Post-war. Rewrite. Semicircle. Undercooked.
Track 2.20.
A. Back in 2012, Andrew Johnson planned to apply to a film school after graduation, rather than look for a job. But then his dad noticed an advertisement for a job with toy manufacturer Lego. Andrew, who was already a Lego fan, sent in an application. It included a video of himself making models. The company loved it and invited him to participate in an unusual interview. He had to compete against 7 other finalists in a model building test. Andrew won. As a result, he was employed at Legoland Discovery Center in Illinois as a master model builder. Lego was just a hobby, but now I can do what I love and get paid for it, said Andrew happily in an interview. B. Some film providers, like Netflix, employ people to watch new films and TV series, then ask them to make a note of what type of film it is, horror, rom-com, etc., what age group and type of person might like it. The film provider can then recommend it to their members. Joe Mason finished his degree in film studies about 2 years ago and didn't know what to do next. Then he read an article about film taggers. The job was so fantastic, and he wrote to Netflix. At first, they weren't interested, but when Joe told them he speaks fluent French, they gave him a job. He watches French films and TV programs. "It's a great job because I can have flexible working hours," said he. The only problem with the job is that Joe can't choose what he wants to watch.
Track 2.21.
So, we have 3 jobs available this summer. Have you had a chance to look at them?
Yes, I have. I'm not sure about the job of fruit picker. Although it's well paid, it'll be very tiring. You have to work all day in the fields. Not only that, it might be rainy too, so you'll get very wet and cold.
Some people like the idea of being outside in the fresh air all day.
I know, but I prefer working inside.
Well, what about the job of sales assistant?
Yes, I quite like the look of that one. I'm very keen on fashion, so I'll find it interesting to work in a clothes shop. I'm sure I'll enjoy it, even though the hours are long. And the money isn't great.
What about this 3rd job, dishwasher? It's better paid than the sales assistant.
Yes, I like the idea of being part of a team, but I don't think washing up in a restaurant kitchen will be very rewarding. It'll be really repetitive.
So, which job do you want to apply for?
Well, not fruit picking. That's really hard work and I'm not very physically fit. Not the job of dishwasher either. The job is quite well paid. However, I really don't want to work in a kitchen. So I'd like to apply for the job of sales assistant. The pay is not very good. Nevertheless, I'm choosing this job because I'm interested in fashion.
Track 2.22.
Anita Perilli was born in 1942 in Littlehampton, a town in the south of England. After leaving school, she trained as an English teacher, but before she found a job, she decided to travel around the world. When Anita returned to Britain, she met a Scottish man called Gordon Roddick. They fell in love and got married. They had 2 daughters and moved to Brighton. It was there in 1976 that Anita Roddick opened the first body shop store. She wanted to sell cosmetics that were natural and not tested on animals. She also recycled the bottles that contained her products. Customers could bring them back to the shop and refill them. 6 months later, she opened another shop, and by 1991 there were 700 body shop stores. By 2004, the body shop had over 2,000 stores, with 71 million customers in 51 countries. Anita Roddick was passionate about social and environmental issues. She gave money to many charities, including Greenpeace and Amnesty International. She joined anti-globalization protests and criticized big oil companies that did not invest in renewable energy. Near the end of her life, she sold Body Shop to L'Oreal, one of the world's largest cosmetic companies. Many of her customers were angry, but she gave most of her money to charities. She died in 2007 at the age of 64.
Track 2.23.
Jamsetji Narsarwanji Tata was an Indian industrialist and entrepreneur. He was one of the most influential people in the world of industry and is often called the father of Indian industry. It all started in 1858 when Jamsetji joined his father's export trading business. He worked there until he was 29, when he started his own company, a cotton mill. He went on to establish several other cotton mills. His companies became famous for being efficient and producing the best quality cotton. In 1898, Tata donated 14 buildings for a research institute that later became the Indian Institute of Science. His family gave a lot of money to education and scientific research and helped the progress of science in India. In 1901, Tata began organizing large steel factories. After he died in 1904, his 2 sons continued his steel companies until they became the largest private steel makers in India. Tata Steel, in fact, became one of the largest steel companies in the world. Tata's family went on to create many companies, including the Tata Power Company, India's largest private electricity company, and in 1932, Tata Airlines, which eventually became Indian Airlines. Since then, they have also bought a London-based tea company and British car companies Jaguar and Land Rover. The Tata family have been incredibly successful and have done a lot to help people in India. Their business empire is still going strong today.
Track 2.24. 1.
Do you enjoy adventure? Have you ever been whitewater rafting or canoeing on a river? If the answer is yes, then you're the kind of person we're looking for to work on our summer camps. We have summer activity camps in the south of France in July and August this year. Experience of working with young people is preferred. All our staff have 1 day off a week and the opportunity for travel at the end of August. Please see our website for more details.
2.
I'm a creative person and I enjoy making things.
I'm good at selling things too. At the moment, I'm making silver jewellery and selling it on the internet. When I leave school, I'd like to study business and finance at university. Then I'll work for a company for a couple of years before I set up my own business. I'm really interested in business, so I'm sure I'll be successful.
3.
I've always wanted to be an actor. When I was at school, I was in the drama club and I performed in all the school plays. I was also in a drama club outside school on Saturdays. I learned a lot of skills there. We did acting, of course, but also singing and dancing. I got my first part in the theatre when I was 10, in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Then I did some adverts on TV and then some children's TV.
Track 2.25.
1. This is a kind of mushroom called a white truffle. It is highly prized in cooking, and the best ones can cost over 10,000 euros per kilogram. A single white truffle was once sold for over 230,000 euros. You might think that's a lot of money to pay for a mushroom, but truffles are very rare and only grow for a couple of months each year. 2. This pen, called the Mont Blanc Lorenzo de Medici fountain pen, costs £6,850. It's made of sterling silver and is engraved by hand.
3.
This pair of melons cost over 2 million yen at an auction in Japan. That's £12,000. Fruit is a popular gift in Japan to say thank you to a friend or to your boss at work. Melons need to be perfectly round and exactly the right colour. Perfect apples and strawberries are also popular gifts. But these Yubari King melons are the most expensive.
4.
These are Nike trainers dipped in real gold. They were created by the designer Just Another Rich Kid. He created 5 pairs of these Nike Air Dunks for $5,400 each. The New York-based artist, real name Ken Courtney, created the glitzy shoes as part of a collection called Indulgences for the man who has everything.
5.
How much do you usually pay for a haircut? If you're in New York City and want NHhello to do it, you'll need to pay about $800. Is it worth it? Well, ask Madonna or Gwyneth Paltrow or Anne Hathaway. They all go to NHhello when they need a haircut.
Track 2.26. 1.
You can buy white truffles at a deli.
2.
You can buy a pen at a stationer's.
3.
You can buy melons at a greengrocer's.
4.
You can buy trainers at a shoe shop.
5.
You can get a haircut at a hairdresser's.
Track 2.27.
Bakers, bank, butchers, charity shop, chemists, coffee shop, clothes shop, cosmetics store, deli, delicatessen, DIY store, estate agents, florists, garden centre, greengrocers, hairdressers, jewellers, laundrette, newsagents, opticians, post office, shoe shop, stationers, takeaway.
Track 2.28. 1.
Can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to buy 2 litres of white paint, please. Oh, and some paintbrushes.
Sure.
Can I use this coupon?
Oh, I'm not sure. Can I see it? Oh, I'm sorry, it's too old.
Oh, really?
Yes, look at this date. Used before the 31st of August 2009.
Wow, I've had that a long time.
2.
Hi, I'm looking for a magazine. It's called Great Train Journeys. Have you got it?
Sure.
How much is it?
It's £1.95.
Really? That's very cheap.
Yes, it's on special offer this month. The normal price is £6.95.
Oh, OK.
3.
Hello, can I help you?
Yes. How much are these jeans, please?
Oh, I'm not sure. Is there a price tag?
I can't see one.
It's usually here near the top. Yes, there it is.
£85? Sorry, they're far too expensive for me.
Well, we've got some cheaper pairs over there.
Thanks.
4.
Can I help you?
Yes. I'm interested in the diamond ring that's in your window.
The one with the large diamond in the centre?
Yes, that's right. Is it £2,500?
Yes, it's a bargain, isn't it?
I don't know. That seems rather expensive.
I realise it's a lot of money, but believe me, it's a big diamond for that price.
Track 2.29.
What are you doing?
I'm doing my geography project. Look at this photo. It's shocking that some people have so much and others have so little. The world would be much better if money didn't exist.
What do you mean? If money didn't exist, how would you buy things?
If you needed something, you would make it. If you couldn't make it, you would swap with somebody else.
So if I wanted a new mobile phone, how would I get it?
You don't need things like that. I'm talking about essentials, food, clothes, that kind of thing. At the moment, millions of people haven't even got those.
If money didn't exist, life wouldn't be better for poor people.
No? I think it would. If nobody had any money, everybody would be equal.
Track 2.30.
Glenn James didn't expect to get a reward for what he did. He thought he was just doing the right thing. But because of his honesty, this poor homeless man from Boston now has enough money to live comfortably. Last February, James, who has been homeless for 5 years, was in a shopping centre when he noticed a bag on the floor. Nobody was near it. He picked it up and looked inside. He couldn't believe his eyes. There was $42,000 in cash and traveller's checks in the bag. James didn't think for one moment of keeping the money. He left the shopping centre and stopped a police car that was passing and handed the bag to them. The bag also contained passports and tickets, and the police soon found the owner of the bag, a Chinese student who was visiting Boston. When Ethan Whittington, a manager at an advertising agency, heard the story on the news, he decided to help James. He wanted to make life better for him. 26-year-old Whittington set up a website where people could donate money to James. He hoped to raise $50,000, but soon there was over $100,000. James is surprised and delighted at receiving the money. "I was only doing the right thing," he says. "Now I'll have enough money to open a bank account."
Track 2.31. 1.
Last week, I was looking for a present for my friend Amy. She's quite fussy, but I found a nice scarf in a clothes store. I was about to pay for it when I noticed a £10 note on the floor. I handed it to the shop assistant and she said she'd keep it in case anyone came back for it.
2. I bought a baseball cap yesterday, but as I was leaving the shop, I noticed that the shop assistant had overcharged me. I was paying by card and I didn't check the amount before I entered my PIN. It said £10 on the price ticket, but she charged me £15. I complained, but it didn't help. She said, "You can have all the money back, but I can't sell it to you for £10. I bought it anyway, but I'm glad I did. It's a really cool cap.
3.
It's always a mistake to buy things in a sale. I always ask myself, would you buy it if it was full price? If the answer is no, probably not, then I don't buy it. There's a lovely leather jacket that I want, but it costs so much. I only get £6 a week from my parents, so it'll be a while before I can afford it. I'm sure Dad would lend me the money if I asked him, but I'd rather not.
4.
Last month I borrowed some money from my parents to buy a necklace. I fell in love with it, although it was expensive. My mum tried to persuade me not to spend so much, but I bought it anyway. A week later, I decided I didn't like it after all, so I decided to return it to the shop. But I couldn't find the receipt, so I couldn't exchange it or get a refund. I've wasted a lot of money, and I owe my mum £60.
Track 2.32.
Box clever. Aaron Levy loves tin spaghetti. He lives in a small apartment. At the age of 27, his biggest luxury is his smartphone. If you met him, you probably wouldn't realize that he is a multi-millionaire. However, as co-founder and CEO of Box, a successful IT company, he is worth about $100 million. He loves his job and works hard. Most days, he does not leave the office until after midnight. Levy and his friend Dylan Smith started Box in 2005 while still at university. It offered a better way of storing data, cloud storage. Like most new businesses, Box did not bring in much income at the start. When it began, Levy and Smith looked for funding, but couldn't find any investors. Back in 2005, cloud storage was quite a new idea. For that reason, nobody wanted to risk lending them money. Eventually, a well-known entrepreneur called Mark Cuban agreed to put money into Box. Soon, Box grew quickly and had contracts with many of the biggest companies in the USA. Now, Box has grown a lot, and so have its profits, making Levy a multi-millionaire. Most people his age would lead an extravagant lifestyle if they had so much money. But Levy says that it doesn't interest him. "I'm certainly not into money." He only goes to expensive restaurants if an important customer wants to eat there. Otherwise, he has lunch meetings in burger bars. "And I still like tin spaghetti. I'd be happy if I had it every day."
Track 2.33.
I'd like to start by saying that I don't believe schools spend enough money on any of these things. The reason I say that is that very few students in our school play musical instruments, and not many do sport either, except PE, which is a lesson. Not only that, we hardly ever go on school trips, perhaps just once a year. Now, let's move on to the question of which of the three schools should spend the most money on. If I have to choose just one, I'd say that we should spend the most on music. I'll tell you why I think that. First, there are lots of opportunities for students to do sport outside school. In my town, for example, there's a sports centre where we can swim, go to the gym, play squash, basketball, football, and so on. Second, students often go on trips and holidays with their parents, so there's no need for the school to spend money on school trips. Finally, and most importantly, Very few people have musical instruments at home, and not many parents play musical instruments themselves. So, without encouragement and help from the school, most students will miss out on music. To sum up, I believe that schools should spend money on all these things, but music is the most important.
Track 2.34.
The World Bank is an international financial organization founded in 1944 at the United Nations Monetary and Financial Conference. It is closely connected to the United Nations and its headquarters are located in Washington, D.C. The bank currently has over 9,000 employees working in more than 100 representative offices worldwide. It is made up of two institutions, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, IBRD, and International Development Association, IDA. Each has its own role in improving the living standards of people in low-income countries. As a member, Vietnam has a strong relationship with the World Bank. Most projects and programs funded by the World Bank for Vietnam have focused mainly on areas such as agriculture, energy, transport, health, education, banking and finance. These programs and projects have effectively contributed to Vietnam's development.
Track 2.35.
In an effort to help Vietnam's development, the World Bank has paid special attention to improving education through a lot of projects. In 2011, for example, Vietnam welcomed a project worth $3 million for the education of deaf children. A year later, $84.6 million was spent on a project named Global Partnership for Education, Vietnam Escuela Nueva Project. Its aim was to introduce new teaching and learning methods to primary students in the most disadvantaged areas. In 2013, the Higher Education Development Policy Programme was approved, a project to improve education in post-secondary institutions, which received $50 million. 2 years later, the World Bank continued its support through another project called Renovation of General Education Project, which aimed to make changes to the curriculum and improve student learning outcomes. Its total spending on this project was $77 million. These are just a few of many ongoing education projects supported by the World Bank in Vietnam.
Track 2.36. 1.
Hello and welcome to George Lewis. I'd like to remind you all that this week is sales week in our shop. You will find plenty of bargains on every floor. There is 50% off many items in ladies' and men's fashion and also children's clothing. You can save 20% on digital cameras and some mobile phones too. And don't forget to visit our cafe for our Offer of the Week menu. One child goes free with each paying adult. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy shopping here at George Lewis.
2.
Hi, Lucy. Katie told me you're going to South America next year.
Yeah, that's right. I want to take a gap year and travel around. And work a bit too.
I'd love to do that, but I haven't got any money.
You need to save up.
But that's really hard. How do you do it? Do you stay at home all the time?
No, you don't need to do that. But I work in the holidays and sometimes at weekends. I don't buy many clothes or CDs anymore either. I still go out, but not every night.
Maybe I need to get a job then.
I think that's a good idea.
3.
Hey, Jake. Are you still looking for a job?
No, I found something in town, in that new clothes shop that opened on the high street last month. My brother's still looking, though.
Oh, right. Well, you can tell him I saw an advert in the restaurant near my house for part-time waiters.
That sounds good. Is it evenings or lunchtimes?
I don't know. I've got the number. Do you want to give it to him?
OK, thanks. I'll put it in my phone.
Track 3.2.
Aquarium, botanical garden, castle, cathedral, fountain, bay, market, mosque, museum, national park, palace, ruins, statue, temple, theme park, tower, water park. Photo A is the Eiffel Tower in France. Photo B is the Blue Mosque in Turkey. Photo C is the Statue of Liberty in the USA. Photo D is the ruins of Machu Picchu in Peru. Photo E is Hat Long Bay in Vietnam. Photo F is the Masai Mara National Reserve, a national park in Kenya. Photo G is Buckingham Palace in England.
Track 3.3.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to your Golden Days coach tour across Europe. I hope you all enjoyed your day in Berlin yesterday. Well, today we're going to head south across Germany and over the border into the Czech Republic. We're going to spend a day in the capital, Prague, and we'll visit Havel's Market. There you can buy souvenirs, paintings. It's quite touristy, but there are lots of interesting things to see. After some more sightseeing in Prague, we're going to head southeast across Slovakia and into Hungary. There's lots to see and do in Budapest, but I recommend visiting the Liberty statue. It's very impressive. When we leave Hungary, we'll travel south through Croatia, all the way down to Dubrovnik. The old harbour there is a very romantic place to have dinner in the evening. The next day we're crossing to Italy by ferry. Rome is the next and final stop on our tour. And when we're in Rome, don't miss the wonderful and historic Trevi Fountain. Now, are there any questions? No? Well, fasten your seat belts and let's set off.
Track 3.4.
Have you ever been to Bulgaria?
Yes, I went there last year with my family. Have you been there?
No, I haven't. What cities did you visit?
We didn't visit any cities. We went skiing.
Sounds great. I've never been skiing, but I'd love to go. Was it good?
Not really. I fell and broke my leg on the first day, so I spent the rest of the holiday in hospital.
Track 3.5.
Did you go to Spain in July?
No, we went to Portugal, and we went in August.
Where did you fly to?
We drove there, actually.
Track 3.6. 1.
No, he flew to Italy last summer. No, he flew to Italy last summer.
2.
I'd like a black coffee, please. I'd like a black coffee, please.
3.
No, we're meeting at 3:50. No, we're meeting at 3:50.
4.
I haven't got a credit card. I haven't got a credit card.
5.
I'll have a ham sandwich, please. I'll have a ham sandwich, please.
Track 3.7.
Georgina Hepworth relaxed back in her seat. 2 hours into her flight, she turned to the woman next to her and said, "I'm really looking forward to my holiday in Spain." "Oh, when are you going to Spain then?" asked the woman. "Well, now, of course," said Georgina. The woman looked puzzled. "Not on this plane," she replied. That's when Georgina found out that her plane wasn't heading for Granada in Spain, but for the island of Grenada in the Caribbean. The Spanish city is 1,500 kilometers south of London The island is 7,000 kilometres away on the other side of the Atlantic. When Georgina decided to go to Spain, she called a travel agent to book the flight. When the tickets arrived, she didn't notice that one letter was wrong. It said GRENADA, not GRANADA, Georgina explained. The flight attendant was very sympathetic and allowed Georgina to sit in a first-class seat. When the plane finally arrived in the Caribbean, the airline put her in a hotel for the night and then, on the following day, flew her to Granada in Spain. The travel agent apologised. "It was just a misunderstanding," said Georgina. "I'm certainly not complaining. They've even given me a free holiday in Austria. Let's hope they don't send me a ticket to Australia."
Track 3.8.
Bag drop, boarding pass, check-in desk, departure gate, departure lounge, departure screen, flight attendant, flight number, hand luggage, passport control, seatbelt, security check, window seat.
Track 3.9.
Where do you usually go on holiday? To the beach or the mountains? Have you ever tried an adventure holiday or even an ecotourism holiday? A. Hilary Bratt, aged 15.
Last year, I went to Guatemala on an ecotourism holiday with my family. We stayed with a local family of coffee farmers. They showed us how to harvest coffee, carry it in a special backpack, and roast it. I don't really like the taste of coffee, but I loved the smell when we roasted it. The best part was that I made friends with a girl on the farm, and now we're pen friends. I'm even learning Spanish.
B. Kevin Rushby, aged 16. For our last family holiday, we went to the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. It was amazing. I saw loads of multicoloured fish and even learned how to dive. We also visited a turtle sanctuary and helped to take baby turtles out to the beach, their natural habitat. Forgetting the sun cream, I got really sunburned. It was worth it, though, to see the baby turtles swimming away. C. Terry Neung, age 16. Last summer, I went to NHviện in South Vietnam with my aunt, uncle, and cousins. My aunt loves adventure holidays. We stayed on a campsite in the jungle, and the local guide took us to see local wildlife. On the first day, I saw a wild boar and a monkey who ran away with my sunglasses. I tried chasing it to get them back. I got separated from the group and didn't know where they were. I was terrified. Finally, I heard the guide calling me. I wasn't lost for long, but it felt like ages.
Track 3.10.
So, we're going to London next month. How exciting! Shall we plan our trip?
Yes. First of all, shall we decide where to stay?
Yes, let's do that. How much do we want to spend?
I don't want to spend very much. Why don't we stay in a cheap hotel?
I'm not sure about that. The beds in cheap hotels are always so uncomfortable.
OK. This hotel near the station looks good.
I'm not sure. It might be quite noisy. What about staying in this hotel near the centre?
I don't mind. You choose. Now, what tourist attractions do you want to see? It would be nice to visit an art gallery.
Yes, I like that idea. Do you fancy going to a concert too?
I'm not very keen on that idea. I'd rather go to the theatre, actually.
OK, why not? There are lots of good shows to choose from.
What about places to eat? What kind of food do you like?
I love fish and chips. Do you fancy getting some fish and chips on the first evening?
What a good idea. I like Italian food too. So we can find a pizzeria on another evening.
Yes. Now, what's the best way to travel round London?
We could always get a travel card. You can travel as often as you like on buses and the underground with a travel card.
That's a really good plan. How much is a travel card?
I think it's about £10 a day.
OK, I'll get 2 of those for us.
Track 3.11.
I'm really looking forward to our trip to London. Shall we book a hotel?
OK, or maybe a hostel. They're much cheaper.
I like that idea. We can find one online.
OK. What kind of tourist attractions would you like to visit?
Well, I'd like to see Buckingham Palace and the Houses of Parliament. And I'd like to go shopping too.
Me too. We could go to one of the markets.
Sorry, did you say supermarket?
No, market. For example, Covent Garden or Camden.
Cool. It would be nice to visit a park too. Do you know if there are any good parks in London?
Yes. Hyde Park and Regent's Park are very beautiful.
Pardon?
Hyde Park and Regent's Park. They're right in the centre. They are very beautiful.
What about restaurants? I suppose there are lots of good restaurants in the centre.
Yes, but lots of them are very pricey.
Sorry, what does pricey mean?
Expensive.
Oh, I see. Well, we can find cheap ones, I'm sure. How are we going to travel around in London?
We can walk if we want to save money.
I don't like that idea. It'll be too tiring.
Well, let's take buses then. Maybe we can hire bicycles too.
I'd rather not. Cycling in cities can be quite dangerous.
OK, let's use the buses then. Or should we use the underground? It's quicker than the bus.
I don't mind. They're both good ideas.
OK, let's use the underground. I'm looking forward to this holiday.
Track 3.12.
Hello, welcome to the Travel Show. Today I'm going to be talking to Giang from the Da Nang Visitor Centre in Vietnam. He's here to talk about a magical tourist destination, which opened there in 2018 and has already received a lot of attention around the world.
Hi there. Yes, the Golden Bridge.
Tell us about it.
Well, it's 150 meters long and connects a cable car station with the gardens in the Ba Na Hills Resort.
So it was built for tourists?
Yes, exactly. It's really unique. Firstly, because of its beautiful color, gold. When the sun shines, the bridge looks spectacular against the green of the forests below. It sits nearly 1,000 meters above sea level, so the views are incredible.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Secondly, there are 2 giant stone hands that appear to support the bridge in the air, like the hands of a god. People love taking photos next to them.
Yes, I've seen friends' photos on Instagram.
There you go.
So, listeners, if you are planning a trip to Vietnam, make sure you put the Golden Bridge on your list of places to visit. Thanks very much for coming on the show, Giang.
Thank you.
Track 3.13.
Have you had a holiday this year, Lucy?
Yes, I went to Spain in May with my mum, my dad and my little brother. We stayed in a little village near Malaga.
Oh yeah, I've been to Malaga a few times. My uncle's got a flat there. He works in a hotel.
Malaga's pretty busy.
Yes, it is. But I like lively places. I'm not so keen on villages.
Yes, but it isn't boring in the villages near Malaga. We went camping, hiking and cycling. The countryside is really beautiful.
I like doing that kind of thing at home. But when I'm on holiday, I prefer lying on the beach and then going to cafes in the evenings.
There were some lovely cafes in the village we went to, and the people were so friendly.
Was the food good?
It was amazing. I love Spanish tapas. I love paella. I really want to do a Spanish cookery course.
I could teach you.
Really?
Yeah. My uncle's a chef at the hotel too. He taught me everything he knows.
Lucky you. I'd like to visit your uncle's hotel.
Well, next time you go to Malaga, you can go there. I'll give you the address.
Thanks. Are you going again soon?
I don't think so. I haven't got any money.
I'd get a job if I were you. I'm working in my local supermarket in the summer because I want to go to Italy in September.
Maybe I'll give them a ring and ask about a job then.
Track 3.14.
Aluminium, cardboard, ceramic, concrete, copper, glass, gold, iron, leather, nylon, paper, plastic, rubber, steel, stone, wood.
Track 3.15. 1.
This is lovely. Isn't it lovely? What is it exactly?
It's a coffee machine.
Oh, yes, of course. Is it battery-powered?
No, it's mains-powered. Look, the cable's here, under the base. If you press this button, the plug appears.
That's clever. I love it. It's perfect for my kitchen at home. I'll come back later today and buy it.
Would you like to try a cup before you go?
I'm sorry?
A cup of coffee.
Oh, no thanks. I never drink coffee. Horrible stuff.
2.
I see you're looking at the cycling machines.
Cycling machines? Oh, yes. Yes, they're very nice, aren't they? A very unusual design.
It will look great in your living room. You don't need to put it away if friends come to visit.
Yes, I see. Good idea. And it's got a long handle. Is that for carrying it?
No, that's the seat.
Oh.
It's leather.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, it's heavy, isn't it?
Yes, it's got a triangular base that's made of iron. It allows you to cycle very fast without the whole thing shaking.
Oh. And what are these buttons for?
That's the computer. If you choose share mode, it automatically posts your workout results on Facebook.
I see. Yes, I really like it. The thing is, I joined a gym recently.
Oh, right.
But my son is trying to get fit, and he would use it, I'm sure.
Track 3.16. 1.
It was really kind of you to lend me your laptop. I'm really grateful.
2.
Please come to the shop with me. I really need your advice on what cooker to buy, and I don't want to go on my own.
3.
This esport match is going to be tough. The other team are really strong. But I think you can win if you really want to.
4.
I'm sorry, but my phone screen is not as large as advertised. Could you change it, please?
5.
I'm sorry to hear that your new product
Phone screen is not as large as advertised. Could you change it, please?
5.
I'm sorry to hear that your new product hasn't been selling well. I know you're upset, but I'm sure things will be better soon.
6.
It's great to see so many of you here today for the launch event. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you enjoy our new gadget. Today for the launch event. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you enjoy our new gadget. Enjoy our new gadget.
Track 3.17. 1.
Your poor eyesight is due to too much exposure to blue light. This has probably been caused by looking at digital screen too much, especially at nighttime. I can certainly prescribe some drugs that will help to better your eyesight. But initially, I'd like you to make some changes to your habits at work. Try to avoid sitting at your desktop or laptop for hours on end. You really should stop using mobile devices before bedtime. Try also to work in natural light as much as possible. Come back to me in 3 months. If your eyesight doesn't improve, we will consider a course of treatment at that point.
2.
You'll be delighted to hear that the new multimedia classroom which the school purchased has finally come into use. It consists of an interactive board and 50 desktops, all of which are hooked up to the highest capacity internet network. It runs various self-study softwares of every single subject on the school's curriculum, so it is very useful for students to work on whatever aspect they need to improve. It'll also allow students to practice communicative skills of foreign languages. We were able to set up this multimedia classroom thanks to the money we made at the Christmas fair. We are very grateful to all the people who donated unwanted items for the stalls and who made all those delicious cakes and biscuits. Without you, we wouldn't have this wonderful self-study space. I'm sure this classroom will be in high demand from the word go.
Track 3.18.
The telharmonium. The telharmonium was the world's first electronic musical instrument. It was designed by Thaddeus Cahill in 1897. Music from the instrument was broadcast to people's homes using a telephone. Before the invention of the radio, people loved these first home concerts. After Cahill's death in 1934, his brother kept one of the 3 models, but in 1962 it was destroyed. No recordings of the music were kept, so the telharmonium and its unique sound have disappeared forever. The writing ball. Invented in 1865 by Rasmus Marling Hansen from Denmark, the writing ball was a machine for typing onto paper. Its use of electricity made the movement faster. However, you could not see the paper as you were typing. Nevertheless, the writing ball was very successful. Since each model was made by hand, it was soon replaced by other cheaper machines produced in factories. A new keyboard with a different key arrangement appeared. The once popular writing ball was forgotten. The Antikythera mechanism. In 1901, an ancient machine was discovered on a ship near the Greek island of Antikythera. It had been made about 1,900 years earlier, in 2 BCE. For many years after its discovery, nobody understood exactly what the machine was for. In the 1970s, scientists found that this ancient computer had been designed to predict the movements of the sun, the moon, and the planets. It did this using more than 30 handmade metal wheels of different sizes. Reconstructions have been made, and the device works perfectly.
Track 3.19.
Hello, can I help you?
Yes, I bought this portable DVD player here 6 months ago, and there's a problem with it.
Oh dear. What's wrong with it?
I can't switch it on. I press the on-off button and nothing happens.
Let me have a look. Yes, you're right. Are the batteries fully charged?
Yes, they are. It doesn't work even when the power lead is connected.
Have you got the receipt?
Yes. Here it is. I'd like to exchange it, please.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. It's over a month old, you see.
Is there anything else you can do?
We can repair it for you.
How long will that take?
About 2 to 3 weeks.
OK then. Repair it, please.
Track 3.20.
Hello, how can I help you?
I bought this tablet here last week. There's a problem with it.
Oh, what's wrong with it?
The screen is broken. Look.
How did that happen?
I dropped it.
Oh dear. Well, we can repair it for you, but you'll have to pay for the repair.
Why? It's only a week old. Can I have my money back, please?
No, I'm afraid you can't. You broke it, you see. It isn't a fault with the tablet.
But it shouldn't break when you drop it, and it was in its case.
The glass is very delicate. It can break quite easily. I'm very sorry, but there's nothing I can do.
Can I exchange it, please?
No, as I said, we can repair it, but we'll have to charge you.
Well, how much will it cost?
About £80, I think.
£80? Well, I'm not happy about that. Can I see the manager, please?
He isn't in the shop at the moment.
Well, if you won't exchange it or give me a refund, I'm going to write to the manager.
As you wish.
Thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Track 3.22.
Like physical museums, virtual museums can transport visitors to the past. For example, the Museum of Flight, Seattle, USA, shows its visitors the early days of aviation history. But virtual museums have a number of benefits. To begin with, they enable people to admire precious heritages around the world without doing any damage to them. Thanks to virtual museums, archaeological sites are visually accessible to the public while remaining perfectly preserved. The Terracotta Warriors and Horses Museum in China, for example, gives visitors a virtual experience of swooping into the tomb, walking among the terracotta soldiers, and viewing their facial expressions. In addition, virtual museums offer education and entertainment at the same time, making learning more enjoyable and making information memorable. Last but not least, virtual museums are accessible regardless of the time and location. Vietnamese students can easily explore the Natural History Museum in London without having to travel to the UK.
But if I lay down and I play down